Hey guys, it's Margaret. It's now the dead of winter and it is freezing cold. All I can think about is bundling myself up in all types of winter wear. I love a good parka and a good puffy hat. Anything that will keep me warm this winter, I'm wearing it. I'm also going to be drawing it because that's my theme for this month. But before I get started, make sure you subscribe to 17's YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any of our future bullet journaling tips and tricks. Okay, let's start. The first page in my January setup is going to be my opener. It's going to feature all sorts of scarves, hats, mittens, boots, and even a puffy jacket. The first thing I did was write January in the center of the page using large, whimsical faux calligraphy. Next, I drew doodles of winter gear all around the title. I gave each hat, scarf, and a pair of mittens a unique pattern. I colored all of them in using blue, purple, and pink. One of the things I love to do to keep my bullet journal themes consistent throughout each spread is to take the doodles I used on previous spreads and incorporate that into the next spread. So I'm going to take all of that winter gear from the opening spread and doodle that on this monthly setup. I started by drawing the calendar, giving each day a square that's 7 boxes wide and 7 boxes tall. I topped off each column with a horizontal bar and colored each horizontal bar with a different color. I labeled each horizontal bar with the days of the week. Next, I drew a quarter circle at the top right of each box with the color I used at the top of the column. I then wrote the number of the day of the month in each quarter circle. I wrote January at the bottom of the right page in the empty space. I filled in all of the extra empty space with doodles from the opener. For this weekly, I used a looser, more minimal feel than I normally do for my layouts. I'm gonna give it a try. Normally, I'm not the sort of person to make things minimal, but I wanna try and simplify some of my spreads. To begin, I drew 7 bars, each about 24 boxes long and 8 boxes apart from each other. I used a different color marker for each horizontal bar. I wrote the day of the week on top of each horizontal bar using bold faux calligraphy. I wrote the number of the day of the week to the left of each bar using an Art Deco style font, and I gave each day of the week a couple bullet points to write reminders or appointments or anything else that I might need. I wrote January 1st through the 7th at the bottom of the right page and drew scarves all around the header and colored them in. For this mood tracker, in order to incorporate the theme that I've been using for the other spreads, I'm going to assign a piece of winter gear like a hat or a scarf or mittens to each day of the month. First, I drew a combination of 31 hats, scarves, puffy jackets, and mittens across 3 pages. I labeled each from 1 through 31 with a circled number. At the top left of the first page, I made a key using 5 small boxes. I gave each box a different color and then labeled each box with a different emotion. To finish off this spread, I wrote Mood Tracker at the top left of the first page in an Art Deco style font. To use this mood tracker, all you have to do is color in each item of winter clothing with a color that corresponds to your overall mood that day. My next and final layout for you guys for this January monthly setup is my habit tracker. To start, I wrote the numbers 1 through 31 in a descending order and drew a vertical line next to the column of numbers. I then drew a horizontal line at the bottom of the column. I used doodles to represent different habits. So for example, I used a dumbbell to represent exercise, an avocado to represent eating healthy, water droplets to represent drinking water, Z's to represent sleep, a jar of vitamins to represent taking vitamins, a book to represent reading, a pencil to represent writing, and a phone to represent unplugging. I then wrote habit tracker at the top of the page and drew a pair of mittens behind the title and colored them in. To use this habit tracker, color in each day of the week that you practice the corresponding habit. I hope you love this video and I hope you stay warm this winter, but if it is too cold to go outside, stay inside, snuggle up to the fire, and just bullet journal. But before you do that, make sure you subscribe to 17's YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any of our future bullet journaling tips and tricks. See you next week.